Hey, what's up? John SONNEZ from simpleprogrammer.com. So I did this video a little bit ago, maybe a week or two ago, or I don't know how long ago, but anyway, maybe more than that. I did a video about coding is not the same as programming. You can check out the video here. And I thought I'd do a follow-up to this because I got some comments on this about something I said, which I want to talk about. Like, I'm kind of surprised. Like, I'm not totally surprised because I realize that people have limiting beliefs and they don't understand the difference between you can't really see things that are outside of your vision, right, until you expand your vision. So you're not going to be able to understand from a worldview that you have how things can be so much different. But I'm going to try and expand your worldview a little bit, expand your vision a little bit to help you understand something that might seem impossible to you right now. Let me turn on my light here. There we go. That's a little better. Anyway, so in the video, there's a part where I basically talk about this idea that I could learn something. Like if you give me a profession, like let's say accounting or what did I use? Biochemistry or something like that that I don't know a lot about, that I could study really hard. If you give me 10 to 12 hours a day, maybe a little bit more, honestly, I'd probably take more time. And if I am just focused on becoming the best at that I could actually become better than most people who have been doing this for 10 years in that profession for 10 years. So, and I put a disclaimer. I said, I'm not trying to be cocky, I'm not trying to be arrogant, and I'm not. But now I'm actually going to be cocky and arrogant because I'm going to explain to you why this is. Because I realize that what I said in my worldview, it makes perfect sense, but you're not me. And you don't understand. Not that I'm special in regards to like having some kind of special ability. I'm not super intelligent, right? I'm not like gifted in some way that you might think that I'm not some genius or prodigy, right? So first, and I also made a statement, which I said that, and this one I'm not entirely sure on. So I'll kind of I'll kind of admit that I might be wrong on this one, but let's talk about this a little bit. So, and then we'll go back to the first statement. So I made a statement. I said that in 3 months you could probably. I talked about like in 3 months I could write a novel or 4 novels, 500,000 words. Totally true, and they would be good, right? Because you would get so much experience from doing it. But okay, but I also said that. Perhaps in 3 months of focusing like 10 to 12 hours a day, remember, focusing 10 to 12 hours a day. We're going to revisit that in a second because that's key. Because maybe it's even more than that, but let's say that that's the amount. I think that's probably sufficient. I said that I could probably learn, or someone could learn. I didn't even say me at this point, right? The other one I said me, and there's a reason why. Again, we'll get to that. But I said that someone could learn maybe 3 to 4 instruments, how to play them decently well, in 3 to 4 in about 3 months, like focus that much. Now, I am not an expert, right? I mean, I've got a guitar over, I put my guitar away because I'm not going to play it. I used to have my guitar back here because I realized I'm not going to play it. I'm not an expert, but I probably learned how to like decently play my guitar, honestly, like in 3 months, maybe a little bit less. And that's just like strumming on it, like, 2 or 3 hours a day, just goofing off with my friends. Not any kind of devoted practice, none of that. And that only took like 3 months. And I'm not good, right? Okay. So when I say decently well, I think that's really the thing. Is it's like, could you learn to play 4 instruments decently well? Meaning that you could like play a couple of tunes on them and play some kind of songs on them. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying decently well as in like you could go on stage and perform. That's going to take years of practice for sure. And there's a reason why, and this is kind of, I want to break down these things because I'm an expert at learning and mastering things. That's one of my expertise, right? I've broken that down. That's why I put out that course on 10 steps to learn anything quickly, because this is something that I've figured out. I've learned how to hack this, right? Everything that I want to do really well, I figured out how to do it, how to become really good at it really fast, all right? And I'll tell you that there's a distinction here between certain types of activities that you're just not ever going to be able to do really fast. So, could you get the basic proficiency of an instrument? Let's just kind of break this down and say, okay, so one of the difficulties, if you hadn't played any kind of music before, would be reading musical notes, having the rhythm, some of the core things that would carry over. And I guarantee you, if you rapidly learned how to play 2 instruments, it'd be faster to learn the 3rd, and the 4th would be so much faster. From a logical sort of viewpoint, somewhat mechanical, and like I said, I'm talking about a basic level of proficiency. I'm not talking about being good. I'm not talking about being as good as someone with 10 years of experience playing an instrument. That's a totally different thing when I was talking about being an accountant or being knowing biochemistry or something like that, right? Those are totally different. So, and we're going to come back to that other side later. I just wanted to address this one first. So understand what I'm saying, right? Again, I could be wrong about that, but I think you could probably be able to play a few tunes on four different instruments if you did that. But there is definitely a difference right here between music or like a sport or something like that, right? You cannot go and practice basketball really hard for 3 months and then suddenly become a really good basketball player. That's not going to happen. You're going to get 10 years of experience of training packed into there. That's just not possible, okay? So the difference is that there are sort of cognitive, logical skills, right, where you get good at them or you understand them through knowledge, okay? And then there are skills that are sort of muscular, neuro type of skills that are part of the body responding to training and that happen at a subconscious level, right? So playing guitar or playing an instrument happens at that level. It requires a lot of practice in order for you to be able to move your fingers, let's say playing guitar or playing an instrument, and to be really good at it. You cannot absorb enough knowledge, right, in order to be able to hone that skill. That it's a physical skill to some degree, right? It's a neurological, physical skill. It has to be trained into the body, okay? Same thing with, I don't know why people just keep calling me. All right, same thing with it's so hard to like, when you know someone's calling you or something, to keep your train of thought when you're doing a video. Anyway, the same thing with like sports, right? So if you get my course on 10 steps to learn anything quickly, all right, and you're going to try to use it to become a better golfer, it's not going to happen. If you're going to use it to play a musical instrument, it's not going to happen, right? You can't cheat those. You can't hack those systems. Now, you can improve definitely with deliberate practice. You can improve in those areas, but it is just going to be a slower progression. You cannot master. Now, I don't care, even as much as I value my skills on learning and mastering things quickly, I might be able to, if I were really focused on learning how to play guitar, I could probably accelerate that by a huge degree, but I couldn't like master guitar or be as good as someone who's been playing guitar for 10 years in a matter of months. And the same thing, let's say that I wanted to compete in the Olympics with Michael Phelps for swimming, couldn't do it in 3 months. Could I do it in 4 years? Maybe I could actually maybe not win, but I could be up at that level, I guarantee you. And that's where I'm going to sort of bridge the gap here. So let's go back to what I was saying before. And I'm going to tell you why. So, could I actually, take a technical skill of some sort that is mostly in the mind and master it in 3 months? Oh, yeah, I could. I guarantee, I don't even know what that sound was, but I guarantee you I could. And I'm going to tell you why, right? Because, okay, let me tell you about what I do during the day, okay? So, I get up, I do my stuff, I write 1,000 words a day or more, okay? And then I fast until 5 o'clock every day. I go hit the gym. I'm either hitting the gym for 2 hours, busting ass without food, or I'm running for 2 hours, okay? I'm like a fucking bulldog. Like when I want to do something, I attack the shit out of it. You've never seen, like, if you come against me to try to compete in something, I'm gonna fucking bury you, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's because I'm gonna outwork the shit out of you. It's because when I have a goal, when I have something I want to accomplish, nothing stops me. I focus, I drive it as hard as I can, and I have the discipline and the ability to do that because I have made myself be able to do that. I am like a fucking bullet coming out of a gun at my goal, okay? Now, not everyone, excuse the language, not everyone is like that. And I'm not trying to brag about that. Maybe it is a little bit of bragging, but I purposely train myself to be that way. That's why I do a lot of freaking hard shit that a lot of people don't want to do. And I wasn't always like that. I was the epitome of lazy. But I'm telling you right now that when you're saying, oh, you couldn't be as good as someone who's been doing something for 10 years, let's say an accountant, and sorry for you accountants out there, hell yes I can. You know why? Because in 3 months, if I'm gonna say I'm gonna do 10 to 12 hours a day, but I'm gonna be working on this 15 hours a day, studying everything that I can, practicing everything that I can, learning, absorbing as much information as I can, just focus 7 days a week on this task, and I'm gonna bury it. I'm gonna outwork the shit out of it. Because see, what you're doing is you're putting me in your box, right? Because in your box, right, your box is, oh, okay, I'm gonna learn something, I'm gonna practice something, I'm gonna master some kind of skill, I'll work on it a few hours, or maybe I'll say I'm working on 10 hours a day, but I'm not like training as hard as I can to do this thing. That's not the box that I live in. I don't live in that box. When I go on a task, like I said, I'm like a fucking bulldog. I will destroy whatever barrier is in front of me. I will absolutely wreck it, and I have the training to do it. Like I said, I have pushed myself. You don't know how far, and I'm not saying, and there's people that would bury my ass. There's people that I wouldn't go against, that they would just make me look like a fucking chump, right? Because they have more work ethic, they have more discipline, more drive. They could bury me, okay? But I'm just saying, compared to the average person, and you know, I'm not saying that you're not that. Maybe you are, but I'm saying if you're saying that someone cannot, you know, become as good as someone at a technical skill who's been doing it for 10 years, the average person, right? Not the super performer, right? I don't care. In 3 months, I'm not going to become as good at some technical proficiency or master some programming language or something like that as someone who is a bulldog of some sorts and has been going at it for 10 years. They're going to be really good, right? But I'm going to be able to come close to competing with them. I'm going to be, you know, because here's the other thing is you have to understand there's diminishing returns, right? So it's really easy to get up to the 80% mastery, and most people in their careers, in their lives, they never ever achieve even a iota or just a small amount close to the 80% mastery of a skill, right? You have tons of people. This is the normal. The normal is to do your job shitty, to be shitty, mediocre at your job, whatever it is. You might have 10 years experience, you might have 20 years experience. You're just as shitty as someone who applied themselves for a few years, right? It's not a high bar. You have to understand this. Most people suck because they don't care. Because they don't care to be good, because they go to their job and they do their thing, their quote profession, and they do it for a couple hours a day and not really focus, and they're not really trying to improve. Okay, that's the difference. Again, I'm not trying to brag in this video. You know, I understand that this is can be perceived as that, but I'm just telling you that there is a fucking difference, and there's a reason why I'm trying to motivate you. Is if you want to accomplish what you want to accomplish in life, you got to have that kind of drive and fucking passion. If you don't have it, then you're not going to understand how I can absorb something. And it's not like I'm just riffing off shit out of my mouth, just vomiting crap at you. Look at my PLURALSIGHT courses. Go on there, okay? and look and see and watch the courses. They're good. They're not shit, right? I made 55 courses in 3 years, 2 of those years working a full-time job, okay? And working out and creating blog posts and doing all this shit. I was fucking like honed in on learning whatever I was going to learn. I was driven, right? The last year that I did Pluralsight courses, I did 36 courses, about 36 courses, and I think 30 of them got released in 1 year, learning brand new programming languages, not just learning them, learning frameworks, teaching them, recording the video while doing all this other stuff. And that's because when I am going to go for it, I go for it. I don't hold anything back. All right? So, summary. What can you learn from this? What am I trying to say here? I'm not a genius. I just will outwork you. Okay? And I've got the discipline to do it. And if you develop this kind of discipline, right? It's nothing special. Anyone could fucking do this, right? People become Navy SEALs and Army Rangers and all this shit in special forces, and they have done this at a physical level. I guarantee you those people are willing to go through shit, right? Because they're willing to have the commitment and drive to be able to do that. So as far as like learning something like that, right, and competing with the bar being so low for most people in their profession, yeah, trust me, you could do a lot more if you had that kind of mentality and drive. And you applied that for 3 months. Now, I'm not saying what you think the average is for 3 months, you know, the average person working for 10 to 12 hours a day. No, I'm saying that level of drive, that you could master anything, okay? That does not require a neurological, physical type of mastery, which can be sped up, right? But cannot be it's not the same thing, which is be playing sports, playing an instrument. There's probably a whole category of these. Maybe to some degree something like playing chess, right? So something like that where it's a subconscious. Anything that's happening at that subconscious level that just requires that repetition. You can get a lot of practice and a lot of experience. You can accelerate that a huge amount if you learn in the right way. So anyway, and if you are interested in how the hell do I do this when I'm actually learning, so again, one is a combination of that, it's the drive, right? It's just when I say that I'm gonna bust my ass for 12 hours during the day, just focus on this task, that's what I do. Okay, so there's one, the drive, and 2, it's the technique. So if you do this enough times, if you've learned enough things, if you become an expert in enough things, you will get the technique. And that's if you're interested, the 10 Steps to Learn Anything Quickly course, you can check that out. That's where I share the technique with you. You don't have to follow that exact technique. It's a guideline, right? I've got it laid out for 10 steps. It's nothing magical. You don't even have to buy it. You can just listen to my videos or hear what I'm saying. But if you're interested in getting the technique that I developed to do that, that's where it is. So anyway, I know that some of you still are just going to disagree, but I'll give you one challenge. Man, I'm making so long of videos here, and I dropped the F-bomb like so many times. I'm feeling guilty about that. but anyway, here's my challenge to you. Even in your perhaps limited mindset, pick something out, right? If you really want something, pick something out. Commit to working on it as much as you can. Let's say 8 to 10 hours. And not everyone has the luxury to do that. I do. That's the other thing is, right? I am in control of my day. I don't have to do anything. I can do whatever I want with my day. So that's why when I say 3 months, I'm not talking about part-time. I'm talking about I will give my full focus and energy to it. But pick something, right, that you want to learn or master that's a non-physical skill and see what kind of crazy ass damage you can do in 3 months, right? Even not having the drive, even not having the devotion, just devoting like 3 or 4 hours a day, right? That'll be a good test, because if you do that, let's say you want to learn something like how to develop Android apps, you become an expert, or iOS or something like that, you could become an absolute expert better than 90%, whoever you are, right? I guarantee you, if you just devote 3 to 4 hours a day of just really focused hard work on that goal for 3 months, guaranteed, test it on yourself. And then once you do that, now imagine what someone who is 5 times more driven, right, and has practice doing this, can do when they do 10 to 12 hours a day, focus on that task. Then you'll understand. Okay? So anyway, I can't convince you. I'm just trying to expand your worldview. I don't get any horses in this game. It doesn't matter if you believe me or not, right? I'm just trying to tell you what's possible. What's possible is a lot more than what you think is possible. You're capable of a lot more, right? And it's fine. If you want to say no, you're not capable, but don't tell me what I'm capable of, because I haven't even begun. I'm dumb. I haven't even begun to become what I'm capable of. I've got so much potential still left. I'm learning and growing every single day and getting better every single day. So don't presume to tell me what you think my limits are, because you don't fucking know. Anyway, if you liked the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you got some comments, leave them below. I'd love to hear from you, especially if you've done something like this and you know it's possible. Let's make some believers out of some of these doubters here, because I know it's possible. Anyway, subscribe. I'll talk to you later. Take care.